tough day for the AI trade with semiconductors getting hit and some of the biggest winners unwinding again. We've got a fresh company in the AI industry joining us here to talk about the landscape and why now to go public. Dan Wagner is the chairman and CEO at RZLV A.I. Dan, thanks so much for being here. And you guys completed your merger, but you're not quite public yet. Tell us first the calendar ahead of you.
Well, so the vote today unanimously approved that RZLV and Armada Acquisition Corp merge. So we will start trading under the ticker symbol RZLV Wednesday or Thursday next week. That's the plan. And we seem to be on track for that.
Okay. Timing, how do you feel about it? Market was just at highs a week ago. It was looking like it was all golden paved roads ahead for AI, and now we just got smacked.
Well, I think that there are golden paved roads ahead for AI. I think what we're talking about here is the most fundamental shift in technology that I've seen in my 40-year career as a technology entrepreneur. I built some market leaders along the way in e-commerce and information services. But I can tell you there is nothing more fundamental in terms of the opportunity than generative AI and the implications it has for business. So, we're just at the very beginning of this. We're on the first rung, and RZLV is sitting very well to take advantage of this anticipated growth over the next few years.
Your main product is Brain Commerce, is that right? Tell me about it.
Correct. So we believe that e-commerce hasn't really changed for the last 40 years. And as I mentioned before, I built one of the market leaders in e-commerce during the early noughties, which I sold to Oracle. The e-commerce interaction is very perfunctory and limited. When you go to a store, you ask for opinions from a salesperson. You say, is this better than that? Is this food blender better than that food blender? What sort of suit should I wear for a summer party? And you get interaction. In e-commerce, it's very, dark suit, filter, result. There's no interaction, there's no advice. And so what Brain Commerce is doing is it's completely transforming that, it's leveling it up so that I can ask questions using my normal voice, speaking as if I'm talking to the best salesperson on the planet. And I'm getting detailed, sophisticated insight and guidance to help me make the right decisions. And I think that e-commerce is going to see a revolution as a result of this kind of technology that we've developed.
Where is the point of interaction with the customer? Is this a software that you sell to companies that they build within their selling platforms, or is this an entry point that consumers will use to find products and services?
No, this is simply software that any retailer can just apply to their existing e-commerce site, or they can apply to their existing app and allow their customers to speak to them in any language, any one of 95 languages, and ask questions about the product. So if I ask my wife today, right, to go and buy me a mobile phone, unless I told her which phone to buy me, she would not know which one to buy. She'd have to go to an AT&T store or a T-Mobile store and speak to a salesperson because she couldn't use the online e-commerce because they'd say, it's got this plasma screen or this OLED screen or 10 megapixel camera. She doesn't know all that, right? So if she could ask a question of an e-commerce site, hey, I need to buy a phone for my husband. Should I get an Apple iPhone 14 or should I get a Samsung S23? And get the answer to that. Samsung's better for low light photography. The Apple's better if you're in the iOS ecosystem. And be guided to a decision. That's a real step up from where we are today.
Okay, in this scenario, you don't know what kind of phone you want either, though, because otherwise she could just call you, say, hey, what type of phone you want, Dan? Okay, so then I would imagine it probably works best in scenarios where people are either unfamiliar with where they're going or they have a very wide selection of items. So, who's jumping on this first?
No, I don't agree with that. I mean, I'd like to be able to pick my phone up and say, I need 2 tickets to New York, leaving on a Friday morning, coming back on a Monday night. I want to sit in business class.
Okay.
I want to sit on the aisle. I want to fly direct and get the answer and go bang, bang, buy that ticket.
Will it book it for you?
I think that it brings the process of interacting with e-commerce down to a single question and getting the answer.
And will it go through the actual execution of doing these things? You've got to ultimately pull the trigger on it, right?
Yeah, well, so we have a suite of products where, Brain Commerce is the conversational commerce using Gen AI. That's all proprietary tech that we have developed over the last 8 years. Then we have Brain Checkout, which is a tap checkout, very efficient checkout. And then there's Brain Assistant, which provides the customer support post-sale, where sometimes you can be frustrated, how do I send this product back or that kind of thing. And all of it is powered by our own proprietary foundational language model called Brain Power.
I see. That was literally the next question out of my mouth, which was, what is the difference between me typing into ChatGPT or on my Google phone, hey, I need to get a good, cocktail dress for my wife and a suit for a type of event we're going to. Like, you've got specific programming that you've built in there.
Yeah, we've got some patents around how we manage product catalogs. But more importantly, our technology is provided to the retailer. So when you go to Target, or when you go to Walgreens, or when you go to Saks Fifth Avenue, or when you go to American Airlines to purchase something, or to interact, or Expedia, or Hotels.com, or wherever it is, right? We're providing a step up to the way to interact with those sites. You can speak to those sites in Korean, or Chinese, or Arabic, or Spanish, or English, of course, but the whole thing is very different, because you're able to ask questions, you're able to get answers, and you're able to get to the point much faster.
Boy, I feel like the idea I'm thinking about right now is if you get really good at doing this with sartorial expertise in clothes, you could be putting some pressure on some of those companies that ship people clothing items because they don't know what to buy, right?
Right. Well, I think more importantly, we give those small guys a level up to their ability
or sell it to them,
their customers, because the small guys, the small hardware store on Lexington Avenue, he or she's personal service when you go into the store is not reflected online, but now it can be. He or she can add that understanding of the different varnishes and the different woods and the different power tools and whatever into his own site, his or her own site, so that when a customer asks questions of that site, they get that personal touch, because even though it's Gen AI that's being created, it's learning from the owners. It's learning from the data that's available.
Cool. I imagine there's a way to kind of link it with inventory management too, in some ways.
Absolutely.
So right now, I think you mentioned Target in there. Any other customers that we should know about, big ones?
I wasn't suggesting that Target is a customer. I was using it just as an example.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We haven't announced any brands yet. We sell through distribution channels. We have large distribution channel partners who have large footprints of merchants who either have e-commerce platforms that we have partnered with, like Adobe, who has Magento platform, or payment service providers like ACI or Fiserv, or large conglomerates like Grupo Carso in Latin America. These are our partners, and we're looking to push our technology through their channels where they have large footprints of merchants and customers.
I see. So then it won't be super like sales force intensive from your side to get the marketing and the message out there, or is that still going to be part of it?
I think we would like to have a large sales team on the street, but we think the fastest route to getting our product to market is through distribution channel partners who already have large merchant footprints. And we believe that we have a significant competitive advantage in that we are the only people offering this technology to retailers and brands. And so whilst we have that competitive advantage, we wanted to move very fast to capture the hill, right? Cool. And we want to build a world leader here. So we believe that we are well placed to do that.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for the details. We'll be in touch. Appreciate your time, Dan.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the debut. Rezolve, RZLV trading next week. Dan Wagner, Chairman and CEO.